this season. Not a lot to get excited about either one of those things.
Oh, what are you talking about, Dan? Their models project they're going to be better. There was actually a report that one rival executive and their analytic model had the Warriors as the 4th best team in the Western Conference.
You know what scares me?
How about that?
About
You better
Steph
be careful.
Is that, I mean, last year he played, I want to say 74 games, which was the most he's played since 2016 or something.
Did you have coffee with him when you were in Paris?
No, man. I don't know Steph at all. I've never had a conversation with him. You've talked to him more than I have.
I don't know about that.
But Steph, I hate saying this.
Oh, boy.
But he ain't playing 74 games again. And as much basketball as he just played, the tread on those tires are already wearing thin. There's a good chance that he's missing substantial time next year. So my only question
he's playing all 82
to Warrior fans is forget about him getting hurt for a month, which you can pretty much hang your hat on, which inadvertently has worked out in a weird way for the Warriors because he's had fresh legs come the postseason. But when Steph comes out of a game or he's hurt, who scores the basketball for those Golden State Warriors?
Our guy.
Kuminga?
Yeah, 0-0. Him?
All right, can Kuminga and Steph sit on the bench at the same time?
Did you hear Podziemski? He's been working on his game. How about this?
I didn't have this feeling of getting better as much as I did this year, or this offseason, I should say, since my junior to senior year of high school.
20 points a game.
During that time, I really noticed a jump in my game. I could feel it. I could see it. And I haven't really felt that since until this offseason.
Wow.
And I think people would ask me about the Illinois to Santa Clara. I think that was more so an opportunity than anything. But from a skill development standpoint, I feel like this offseason has been, up there with the one my junior to senior of high school. So for me, I'm feeling really good. Took out the floaters, took out the hook shots, kind of putting in more mid-range stuff, more threes off the dribble, more threes off the catch. So just adding different things, and then defensively being able to, take on that challenge, being out there with Steph every night, taking that challenge head on.
No hooks. You can book it.
You know, a lot of pressure on that kid.
Yeah, I know.
If he's really the reason why they wouldn't move off on him to get Paul George and or Lauri Markkanen, well, brother, you better show us why. You know what I mean? If you're the reason why we didn't get those two players because we coveted you, well, what is it that you got that's so special?
Yeah, no, this isn't a referendum of Brandon Podziemski, but I do think that the Warriors, by not including him and all of that information leaking out, I think they've kind of put him in an unfair spot, to be honest. Like, I think Podziemski's a good player, and he showed a lot as a rookie, but I think he's going to be expected to be the starting shooting guard, and that's a lot of pressure when the shoes you're filling are a future Hall of Famers. I know Klay Thompson wasn't great last year, or maybe the past 2 years, depending on how you view him, but you're still whoever is going to be the two is being asked to fill in for Klay Thompson.
I think that thing should be wide open. It should be just like a summer tryout, because maybe
this ain't varsity, Dan.
Maybe you pencil him in, but it's not in bold type. I'll put Podziemski as the number 2. But I would say Moody, even you, Wiggins, because you're really small at the guard spot if you get those two, Steph and Podziemski, aren't you? I think Moody, I would say, hey, my man, Podziemski might have you by a nose going into this thing, but you got to punch his chance. What do you got?
Well, speaking of, I don't even know if this is a word, overzealousness, you called Steph Curry Muhammad Ali.
So my checklist for greatest athletes.
Care to expand?
Would you put him in the top 10 in the NBA?
Curry?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Of all time?
Of all time, yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like, when you go through it, they're like, oh, really, I'm going to move.
I mean, I don't think he's like a top 3 player ever, top maybe even 5, but yeah, he probably cracks my top 10.
So if you're in the top 10 of your respective sport all time, the reason why I put him in that pantheon of the greatest athletes of ever is because, for me, my checklist is that.
Actually, I think that's Ali's agent. He's calling to tell you to back the hell off this statement.
So
you better be careful.
That's the better half calling me from New York City. See, man, this is what happens.
Is she listening?
No, maybe.
What's up, C?
Good job.
Oh, come on, man.
So here's the thing. Wow, a CC shout out. Good job, F. She's going to love that. So listen, for me, my checklist of what it is that entail to become the greatest athletes of all time, it's that you be in the top 10 in your respective sport. And for me, what you do off the court, ambassador, goodwill. We were talking about good guys, right? I mean, we had this discussion, who are good guys on the 49ers, which I think led me to all of this.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's ever been a better guy as far as doing it the right way and not being disingenuous about it than that of Steph Curry to ever play sports in my lifetime. Huge statement, yeah, but I stand by it. I think that because of what it is, how special he is off the court, on everything that he does, not only for the Warriors, but I think for basketball in general, and just being that, that special person puts him in sort of that rarefied air.
Well, if you're talking about most likable athletes ever, I do think Curry's got a case to be number one. I can't think of anything about the guy that I dislike, to be honest. But if you are also relitigating history, the reason why him and Ali to me are incomparable is because during his heyday, Ali was not liked. He was branded a draft dodger. People felt like he was un-American. I think that's why his impact is far greater and superior to that of a Curry, or honestly, frankly, any modern day athlete. I don't want to just single out Curry. There's very few people that today I think have an opportunity, specifically in America, to do the kinds of things that Ali did. As far as greatness, 100% with you. I think Curry is up there as one of the greatest basketball players ever. I know that if you really want to go down the list, Ali and his record, as a boxer, you could probably slot him somewhere in the top 10, maybe top 5. But pound for pound, there are other people that you could make a case for. But in terms of impact, and this is where I do think that, the greatest American athletes ever, I would leave Curry out of that. That's where Ali stands alone.
Oh yeah, well, I don't put. But
likability, Curry's. You can make a case. Curry's more likable than Ali was.
Yeah, Ali is the transcendent figure. I don't put him on the same level as Muhammad. There'll never be another Muhammad Ali. Which brings me once again to another Evan Gidding moment. Bro, you are such an old soul. First of all, how you dug out Monty Moore and just in seamless transition talk about the virtues of Muhammad Ali and knowing and I know, listen, I wasn't alive when, Lincoln got shot, but I can tell you about it. So I know we can look these things up. But
John Wilkes Booth.
For you to have the reverence for a Muhammad Ali for a lot of kids your age is why you're so special. No, to know about what Muhammad Ali stood for off the field and civil rights and the whole Vietnam and in the late 1960s, the turbulence, to steal the line from Howard Cosell in his book, The Turbulent 1960s.
That's not a bad Cosell.
Muhammad Ali, and you don't see athletes willing to take that platform they're given and do what it is that he did. So, no, I would never. There's only one Muhammad Ali. I'm just saying that there are very few athletes that are willing to be as genuine and as it goes beyond just being nice. I mean, he does things for the community that a lot of us are not aware of, and I'm talking about Steph.
Well, that's true, and I also think in an Ali fashion, like Curry's. Look, he was the star of the Olympics on a team with arguably the greatest player of all time in LeBron James. And I think if you were to look, I mean, Curry was I think he made second team All-NBA this year. It wasn't like he's coming off an MVP campaign and he's at the peak of his powers and he still found a way to steal the show in Paris and make it about him in a way that wasn't arrogant, or at least, he didn't make it about him in a way that was selfish. He just did what he's done seemingly at every point in his career, and that's rise to the occasion. And in that way, he is Ali-like.
By the way, when we come back, if we can just stay on the Niners for a second. So I did a hit on our old friend Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
Chucky Walters.
Yeah.
So he's now heading up Locked On Warriors.
Yes, he is.
And so I know you did a hit on there, and so he called me up and said, "Hey, do you have some time?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he texted me the subject matter, and it was Steve Kerr in a hot seat.
Oh,
and
my
Steve Kerr
God.
hate. Like, really? Am I missing something here? I like to discuss because apparently there's a lot of people out there not happy with the man.
Wow, dude.
We can get to that on the other side. And also, yeah, again, I'll put a bow on this Ayuk. I'll put a bow on Brandon on the other side.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk Brandon Ayuk.
There's also, I'm sorry, what? Curry was third team All-NBA last year. Oh, boy, he's falling off a cliff. Still the best guy in Paris. All right, coming up on the other side, Dan's going to talk to us about why Steve Kerr's on the hot seat.
I don't have him on the hot seat.
Well, why some people have him on the hot seat. And we will also get you set, again, for tomorrow. The 49ers do have a preseason game, 5 o'clock kick against the Saints. A couple of big storylines to get to. A couple of players that have also stood out. I'm curious to get Carter's thoughts, who's been at training camp on the other side of that as well, as we wrap up our second to final segment. Final segment coming up on the other side. Evan Giddings and Dan Devone.